Every episode of The Gauge is brought to you by Bill Fick Ford and the WCRA. Guys, Bill Fick Ford is the #1 Super Duty dealer in the country for the 4th year in a row. You guys have heard me rant and rave about Bill Fick Ford for the absolute best buying experience in the car industry, truck industry. Bill Fick Ford's the place to go. I bet you remember the old ad where I said I was getting a new Super Duty. Well, here's the keys for that. Bill Fick Ford delivers, guys. No bull discounts, no bull interest rates, the best buying experience you can get. And if you are not local to Huntsville or the Houston area, he'll deliver it to you just like he did to me. Bill Fick Ford. Rodeo Corpus Christi has nearly tripled its added prize money from 2019 and will be one of the largest payout rodeos this summer. That's $545,000 with no entry fees. Rodeo Corpus Christi will be the first stop of WCRA's Triple Crown of Rodeo. The only way to qualify for the Rodeo Corpus Christi is by nominating your rides and runs with the WCRA. You can win $1 million by nominating your rides and runs and earning points with the WCRA. Through the Triple Crown of Rodeo, the WCRA will award this $1 million cash prize to any one athlete or collective of athletes who win first place at any 3 consecutive WCRA major rodeos. A common misconception with the WCRA is that it is only for the pros. That's the farthest thing from the truth. It's designed for the underdogs to have their fair chance. If you feel like you have the ability to compete against the best in the world, but maybe you don't feel like it. Maybe you can't afford to go down the road for a full year. Maybe you got a job. Well, the WCRA is made for you. The WCRA has awarded more than $8.5 million to rodeo athletes in just a couple of years. To learn more, visit WCRArodeo.com and learn how you can earn a spot at Rodeo Corpus Christi and possibly be rodeo's next millionaire.
What sets Resistol apart is the legacy of the cowboys who wear the brand. These traditions are passed down from fathers to sons, from heroes to future champions. Since 1927, Resistol has been handcrafting the finest American-made cowboy hats. Generation after generation, we live it every day.
This is The Gauge with host Chance Conradu.
Are you freaking serious? It's Conrado. This is The Gauge, and I am Chance Conrado. On this episode of the podcast, we have got 2-time PBR world champion Jess Lockwood. We get pretty philosophical on this episode. I think it is a great one. Going to keep it short and sweet here on the intro. Get right into it. Check it out.
I will put on the record that these aren't on all the time, so...
Oh, there you go.
If people don't know me, damn, why does that kid have braces? They're not here all the time.
Yeah.
Just the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, we got Fallon to go about as open as she ever has, she said, so.
Dude, I seen something you guys posted on there.
Yeah, about her?
Yeah, like some clips from it.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, she don't give a care. I like it.
She doesn't care. People don't like her, but I think she's one of the coolest freaking people in our whole industry. Cause
yeah, I've never been around her much myself, got to know her or anything.
She keeps herself pretty isolated.
Yeah. I don't blame her.
I mean, when you have a following like that,
yeah.
I mean, granted, you have a big following, but she like transcends everything, and she just doesn't care. I dig it. I mean, if you're gonna wear rainbow pants and a helmet with a, then
you just do you, and I love it.
Crap,
that's some confidence. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, though. I mean, if you're going to put yourself out there, like especially in something like that, where people are so dogmatic about the way you have to look and be, and you know how people are with cowboy hats. And
everyone's so judgmental in this world anymore. Like, you have just got to do you and not care what anyone says.
Yeah, that's so hard.
It's your life. Live it how you want.
Exactly. But if someone's going to put themselves out there, I mean, I would never wear the helmet. And I don't know very many barrel racers who would wear the rainbow pants, but this chick comes out, does what she does, and transcends all of the whole barrel racing industry. It's crazy. You got to give her props.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she lives in Highland Park or wherever in her $2-3 million house, living the life, driving the G-Wagon, has her ranch separate. Like, you're going to tell me that you would not trade places with her if you're a barrel racer? Yeah, shut up. You would.
Yeah, she's living a good life.
She is, man. Awesome. Yeah, you got to give it to her. But Speaking of good life, dude, you've had a hard, 18 months, 2 years? It's injury after injury.
Dude, it's a year and what is today, the 5th? 6th? Something like
I don't know. What is today, Ty?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a year and 4 days since
Yeah.
I got messed up last year with my hamstring. And then following that, my shoulder last fall, jaw first bowl of this year, just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, just dude, it's been a rough go, especially for a guy your age, and you were kind of on top of the game. And I mean, how do you deal with that mentally? Like just getting jacked up once, that's enough. And I looked at your training montages, like, dude, you trying really freaking hard to heal yourself up.
Oh yeah, so I come from a wrestling background. From the time I was 5 years old till 17, I was a wrestler. And that's where all my training comes from, you know. I believe fully if you don't put in the work, there's someone out there that's putting in more work than you. And it comes to a point when you're riding in the PBR where practice bowls ain't going to do you no good. I mean, it is and it isn't. At this point, our bodies know how to react and what to do. So keeping them in the best shape, the best health, that's where I think it comes into play the most, is just staying in good shape. So that wrestling background has helped me been really consistent in my workouts and very disciplined.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's, I mean, I wrestled too, and that's the key. Like, if you're not disciplined in wrestling, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You ain't get your ass kicked.
Yeah, you get home, it's like, man, I was good on weight tonight. Surely I can eat a fudge stick or something. No discipline. You're going to be overweight. You're going to be running around at the tournament trying to lose weight.
Yep.
That discipline comes in early. When you're, junior high and you're trying to make weight, it starts at an early age.
What weight did you wrestle in high school? I mean, in middle school it's a little different, but like
I won the 98-pound state championship my freshman year, and then sophomore year I ended up third at 112.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm a whopping 130.
Yeah, I mean,
I ain't growed much.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm about 160, but I've spent enough time in the gym to be a little bit heavier. But it wouldn't benefit you in bull riding to weigh more. That's probably the main thing, right?
Yeah, and I keep my discipline from wrestling and bull riding. That I eat healthy all week long. I have custom meals sent to me from this. I actually got to meet a lot of the Olympic wrestlers after I won my first world title at the Olympic training camp, and they hooked me up with this company called Metabolic Meals that I get these meals sent to me directly, and it just maintains my weight and kind of got all the nutrients in it I need to heal up my body. And that's all I eat during the week, work out, keep myself at that certain weight, and that's where I feel best. If I'm 3 pounds over, I feel like crap going into a weekend. No kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. How come you didn't want to wrestle in college? I mean, if you're a freshman state champ, what division? Like, was it 1A, 2A? I don't know what size school you went to.
My class was 20 kids, and the school from 7th. So our high school was 7th grade through 12th.
Yeah.
It had 110 kids in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And so my sophomore year was my last year wrestling, and going into my junior year, it was 2014 going into 15, and at the end of 15 in September I was going to turn 18 years old. So I figured, well, if I want to be a professional bull rider, that's what I've always wanted to do. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to make sure I go all winter long riding bulls to prepare myself for turning 18 next year. And I kid you not, I was so nervous to go tell my wrestling coach that I was not going to wrestle that year. I was freaking out, and I finally got it out and all my stuttering and whatnot, and he was just kind of in shock. He didn't really have much to say, like, oh, okay. And other than that, that's it. I rode bulls all that winter and just prepared myself to turn 18 that next year.
Yeah. I mean, you jumped right in, too.
Yeah. I actually made it on the PBR tour when I was still a senior in high school in April, the first weekend of April. In 2016, I was still a senior, and that was my first PBR on a tour event.
Right, right. Well, I mean, what was it? I mean, small school, small everything, but I mean, you high school rodeo did the whole deal in the summer, I'm sure, right?
Yep.
And then you just knew right out of the gate that, hey, I want to go straight into the PBR. Didn't want to mess around with rodeo or do any of that.
So it was when I was 17. I was still kind of on the edge, like, did I want a rodeo? Did I want a PBR? But Matt Triplett is from Montana. And that year I've known him for a bit, and that year he was just killing it in the PBRs. He was number one in the world for like the first 3-4 months, and he's a good friend. So I asked him, I'm like, how I'm riding right now, Matt, how do you think I should approach this? He said PBR. Said
Really?
you'd be dumb not to go PBR with all the money and as good as you ride, you're gonna adapt really quick and handle the bulls. So from that, I was like, well, he's riding in it. He knows he knows me too. So he knows what I can take and can't take.
Right.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, because, I mean, most people go the other way. They do 1-2 years in rodeo and then slowly kind of, it seems like, go to the PBR. But, I mean, it obviously worked out.
And I won't say it's not a bad idea to go and get your feet wet and go out and rodeo, get on some bulls, because a senior in high school and riding those type of bulls, I did take a beating.
Yeah.
Like, I've stayed pretty healthy my rookie year, but at the same time, you're 18 years old, you're a kid still, and you're getting on the rankest bulls in the world. I remember in May of that year, it was the last Cowboy Standing event, it's called, and we had it in Vegas. And I, like, the first 2-3 rounds were just, like, the good bulls, and I made it. I rode my first 2-3, made it to the rank bullpen, and they had us go out in the arena and draw out of a hat chips on what bull we were going to get. The top, I think they took 10 to this round, top 10 bulls in the world right then. And out of this hat, I pulled this chip, and it says number 1. And number 1 bull in the world was Airtime right then. And at 18 years old, I strapped my hand and my rope on Airtime. He did knock the living crap out of me. And that was such an awakening. Like, I'm a kid still, and I just got on the rankest bull in the world, and he knocked the crap out of me. So some people are prepared, and some people aren't. And I was not prepared to get on the greatest bull in the world,
Right.
and one of the greatest bulls of all time at that moment.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I never got into bull riding. It just wasn't even a thing. But, I mean, I just have to think, at your age, like, dude, what was your mindset? Like, were you barely able to compose yourself enough to get on them, or were you ready to go?
I was pretty pumped, honestly.
Really?
I had it in my mind, I'm gonna ride this bull. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior in high school. I'm a rookie. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna ride this bull.
Yeah.
You gotta have that mindset. And it's funny, and the guy that owns that bull, Matt Sharping, he always jokes because my dad was there with me, and my dad was freaking out, man.
Really?
He was nervous, shaking, and Matt told him. He never told me until this year, Matt did, that he went over to my dad, and Dad was nervous, freaking out, kind of.
Right.
And he put his hand on him, and Matt said, "It's going to be all right, Ed. He's not going to try to hurt him. It's going to be good." And I think Dad kind of took a deep breath then, but I can't imagine, being a father and seeing your kid go against the rankest bull in the world.
Yeah. I mean, when you told your parents, hey, I want to bull ride for a living, were they totally supportive, or was it like Jess, I don't know, you're just a 98-pound wrestler. You sure you want to do this?
I think from the time I was 2-3 years old is when I wanted to be a bull rider. So
Really?
I think they had those 16 years to kind of mentally and physically prepare themselves that this is what he's going to do. He's not going to change his mind. So by the time I did say I'm going to go PBR at 18 and not rodeo and stick around home, that they were pretty prepared for it. They knew what I was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing that's kind of cool about that PBR is it's like a lot of other things. It is a 1v1 sport, but I mean, you guys have a pretty good camaraderie between everybody. What was it like being 18 years old? I mean, were you because you were the youngest champion, but
Yep.
I mean, what was it like with those guys who were going at that time, seeing you? I mean, did they invite you in? Was it kind of like, oh, let's see what this punk can do, or just totally indifferent that you even existed at that point?
Man, everyone's so good. Everyone's so welcoming. And when I first walked in to my very first tour event, one of my best friends is Derek Obaba, so I already knew Derek, so I put my stuff by him, but kind of was getting to know Cooper Davis before I got on tour, so it was really cool for me to be around Cooper Davis finally. But, you walk in that locker room and J.V. Mooney's right there.
Right.
And I watched J.V. Mooney on TV, his first event was 2006. And
Right.
I was 8-9 years old. I've been watching him since I was a kid. And to walk in that locker room and see J.V. Mooney there, of course, he's sitting back in his chair, got a cigarette in, just
Yeah, JB
hanging
fashion.
out, J.V. Mooney.
Totally
And
different mindset than yours when it comes to virtually everything, right?
I walk in that locker room, it's just the coolest thing ever, Guys I've watched on TV for the last 10 years of my life, some of them are in there.
Right.
It was just, I don't know, it didn't feel like reality.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure not. I mean, and then, like, all that's one thing, and then kind of finding your gear and then learning to perform. I mean, how did you adjust to, you're from a small-ass little town, right?
Oh, yeah.
A dink of a town. Like, to when you started catching your stride, like this money that you're earning and then like the notoriety that started coming, like how do you adjust to something like that coming from your, I don't want to say sheltered, but you're sheltered if you're from a town that small. I mean, I was too, so I get it.
Shit, when I started going out to these PBRs and stuff with, like I hopped in with a couple buddies that were older and kind of knew their way around, but we're going to these towns that, they're not that big, but growing up where I did, I'm like, holy shit, these towns are huge.
Right.
And we'd just be somewhere like Stephenville, Texas is pretty dang big.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not. But something like that, that's huge to me when I was coming from home. But, coming from those small towns, I love it. You know everyone in the town. You know anyone in the surrounding towns. And everyone just knows everyone in southeastern Montana. It's a great support system.
Yeah, no doubt. But, I mean, how did you adjust from that, though, to this? I mean, it's as close to rock and roll lifestyle as rodeo has to offer. I mean, PBR for sure.
I don't know. I remember when I was just starting to get on bigger bulls, and Dad, I rode this bull really good. He bucked pretty dang good, and I was like 83, 84 points when I was 13, 14 years old, and I threw my helmet in the arena, and it was kind of like hooping and hollering. And Dad told me, he's like, you don't need to do that. He told me a story that he used to ride broncs, and he used to travel a little bit with Billy Etbauer.
Yeah.
And he told me a story that whenever someone would tell Billy how great a ride that was, Billy'd just say, oh, I got lucky, and he just kind of brush it off. Humble guy. So from that point forward, I was just, my parents wouldn't let me be a cocky little kid and this and that. They've always kept me humble. So growing up and doing as good as I have, I've always stayed very humble just because chances are Mom and Dad may whoop my butt when I get home if I'm not.
Right. I mean, no doubt. And, I mean, you've learned this a lot in the last year, though. And there's other guys, like my friend Bonner's one of those guys. He busted his neck and was done, right? And I just wonder, like, if you really want to just enjoy yourself, maybe you need to enjoy it while you can, because anything could happen on one of these 2,000-pound freaking savages.
Yeah, bull riding should be humbling enough, There's times you'll go out, you'll win the round, you could be 94 points, set a record for the day. The next day, you could get jerked down, stepped on, you could get messed up and made look a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing with PBR, though, is you get so many opportunities, right? Like, you can completely flip the script in one or two events, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we get on the best bulls each weekend, and the money's so good. It's just, it doesn't get any better. And you can fly out on a Friday, Saturday morning, be home on a Sunday night. That's the thing I love the best. I can be home all week and just go on the weekends.
Right. It would make it hard to want a rodeo just because of that. Beat the pavement for a lot less money. And, I mean, granted, you're competing against, this is the age-old argument with bull riding, right? You've probably heard this 1,000 times. But, who's better, Jess Lockwood or Sage Kimsey? It's like, that's not even a question, really. They're two different worlds.
Yep.
When you say it like that, it makes a lot of sense. Like, why would you want a rodeo when you can win a year's worth of money in a few weekends and you don't have to beat the pavement?
Yeah. And, J.W. Harris, he rodeoed and came over to the PBR.
Yeah.
And now he's back rodeoing. And they make good points. Like J-Dub said, he just kind of got tired of the PBR and not the bulls, not the money. Like he said, you can't ask for better.
Yeah.
But it's just the scene, rodeo, and you kind of get to joke around, have fun, and kind of just do whatever and travel a lot and see a lot of stuff. Whereas the PBR each weekend, you could close your eyes, be blindfolded, go into the building, and it looks like the same. Whether you're in New York City, Sacramento, California, or Georgia, somewhere,
wherever. Yeah,
you can walk in. It's the same arena setup. It doesn't look any different. So that's the only thing, is that everywhere we go, it's no different.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a traveling show, right? It's very similar to, Endeavor owns it, so it's very similar to UFCs or WWEs or whatever, where they are putting on the same type of show, same type of performance, with the same people saying the same things over and over. So that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because rodeo is just, it's always a different pin. It's always a different setup. Granted, it's going to be some of the same bulls, but different crowds, different environments. Does that make you want to, try rodeoing at some point? Like, when you decide maybe you get to that point?
I probably won't after I'm done with PBRs, but, I've always had my pro rodeo stuff. Each year I buy it, and when it comes around to summertime, I'll enter a few here and there. I've never got in, but I got my stuff again this year, and I'll probably try a couple small ones around the house in the summer.
Right.
But, yeah, like the outdoor scene is what I love the most because we're indoors every weekend. And when it's good weather, like the Calgary Stampede, that is the best thing, most favorite thing in the world to me. I like it more than the PBR World Finals, honestly.
Yeah.
The scene, it's a rodeo. It's just fireworks. They fill those stands. It's the coolest
Calgary
thing.
shuts down for it. It's the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite rodeo.
Oh, yeah. It's hard not to be.
Get to parachute in, do the whole deal.
Yeah,
it's just
on
cool.
the zip lines or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is a good point. But when you injured your hip, did you feel like you weren't quite the same for a little while?
Coming back off of it?
Yeah. I mean, because it seemed like if you follow it, you struggled a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I struggled a lot. It was weird, and there's no excuse to why it should be. But when it happened, Tandy Freeman, when I first came in and seen him here in Dallas to get it checked out and MRI'd and all that, he came in and he said, if we don't find someone to fix this, and even then, it may be career-ending. You may never ride a bull ever again. It's that bad. And coming back from it, everything just felt a little different. I mean, I've got an artificial hamstring at this point, pretty much. And
what did they give you? Was it like a sheep's hamstring or something like that?
A cadaver tendon, someone's Achilles heel.
Really?
It came out, some person's Achilles heel is my new hamstring.
Yeah.
And coming back from that, my leg's kind of numb, and even to this day, it's still numb.
Got some dead spots.
Yeah, I just don't have much feeling in it, and it gets tight really easy. But since the World Finals last year, because I really didn't adjust my routine until after the World Finals last year, and we adjusted kind of my workouts and what I needed to do different, this and that, and since then, it's helped improve my leg a lot. I'm getting a little bit of feeling back in it. It's looser all the time now, but coming back from that, everything just, I'd never been hurt to that extent, so everything just felt different, and it was hard.
Yeah. Dude, I couldn't imagine. I mean, how long did they tell you that you had to be laid up for?
6 months after surgery, and then when I came down and checked up with Tandy, and he gave me the go-ahead, he said, well, see if it works. And I was like, what the hell do you mean, see if it works? He said, well, it's as healed and fixed as it's going to be, so either you get on this first bull and it tears again and you never ride a bull again, or it holds up and you're good to go. So at the practice pen at my house to get on that first bull, you could put $10 million in front of me, say if you ride any bull in the world, you get that. I'd be more nervous getting on that practice bull just to see if my hamstring was going to hold up.
Really?
I was so nervous because either first jump, it's going to explode and I'll never ride a bull again, or it's going to hold up.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it worked out, but I mean, I couldn't imagine. Did you actually ride, or did you bail out as soon as you realized it was fine?
No, I rode him. As soon as I squeezed when he came out and it held up, I was like, hell, let's keep going. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. I mean, I just couldn't imagine. Like, you see people get injuries and like they never come back. You see it in other sports, like you see it in UFC all the time. If a guy gets injured, then he gets knocked out or something, you never see that guy again. Like,
yeah,
it's speaking of,
that's just our weekends.
Yeah,
getting knocked out, getting hurt. It's just a typical weekend for us.
Yeah,
I mean, not to that extent where it's surgical and everything, but bruised, battered, and beaten. That's the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, you're still walking out of there with something, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, do you ever get sick of it? Like, do you ever feel like, hey, man, I don't know why I'm messing with this? Like, you busted your hip, and then you hurt your arm or your shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Then you had your mouth swelled up.
Oh,
like,
yeah, broke my jaw. Yeah, it does get to a point where you question it, and it's terrible to say. But there's got to come a point to everyone, even when you're in your prime, that you're like, like sometimes it's just, there's days that it just isn't that fun.
Yeah.
But, if you go another couple months without it, if you got to sit out, then you start craving it again, and you're like, okay, I still want to do this.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're what, 24, 23?
23.
Yeah. So, I mean, your prime, if you look at what JB's 33?
Yeah.
Or more? What
33
is he?
now.
Yeah. And he's still able to hang at the World Finals and do all that. I mean,
oh yeah.
If you're a guy like that and you can do it, I mean, I don't know why you'd quit. I mean, I guess if you get injured, it resets kind of your mind, because like you get one body, you get one life.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
That bull doesn't give a shit about you.
He don't give a damn about you, nothing. It's so crazy.
It is crazy. I do like to give the PBR a lot of credit though, because they've invigorated that thing to like a level so far above everything else Western world that I mean, it's pretty amazing. When you're when they're setting up these shows, how involved are you guys in all that? Or do you guys just kind of show up and they tell you where to go?
Yeah, we just show up each weekend, and we can show up an hour before it starts, throw our bag in there, get dressed, and be out there. We don't have to do anything. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
So you don't have media obligations or any of that.
No, none that are usually what's the word I'm looking for? Mandatory.
No mandatory stuff.
Usually no mandatory stuff for the PBR. There's a couple here and there, but like maybe once or twice a year is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were going like into that first year where you won your first world title, I mean, when did things start to change to where, because we could be real. I mean, you're one of the biggest draws for the PBR now. I mean, it all just worked out. You were a super young guy. You had the right look, the story, the whole thing like worked out for you, right? Because there's other PBR guys who weren't able to gain as much traction as you, or very few people in rodeo, really, especially at your age. I mean, what do you think was like that perfect storm that had the little kid from Montana kind of be up and be the face of the PBR the way you have?
I think a lot of it came when I came on at 18 years old, a senior in high school. And
it's a good story.
Yeah. And I think once I got on tour, it was April, so it was close to the end of the first half of the season, which we have a summer break from May till August. And when we started it back up again in August, I had kind of taken the summer off and just been home working and getting in, keeping in shape, working out. And we came into that second half of the season, and I went from I think I was 13th, 14th in the world, and I broke the top 5 going into the World Finals. I think I was 4th or 5th that year going into the World Finals at 19 years old with a shot at a world title. And this is where it kind of really gets cool. It sucked, but the story is cool because I went into the finals with, like I said, a shot to win a world title. And I'd recently, which it's no excuse, but the last event of the year, I'd broken a joint in my hand. And so every single night of the PBR finals, Tandy Freeman had to give me a shot with, a 8-inch needle, stick it in my hand and numb it up, just because I couldn't move my hand, let alone hold on to a bull rope if it wasn't numbed up.
Right.
And I bucked off every single bull at the finals. I didn't ride one. And that's when everyone's like, well, maybe he isn't as good as we thought, He came in the top 5 and he's just not ready, and maybe he needs to go rodeo for a year and this and that. So
were a lot of people trying to tell you what to do?
They weren't, but they were talking, the commentators, they'd talk, and people are talking because I didn't stay on a bull, and everyone's thinking I was going to do good.
Yeah.
And so I took off those couple months and let my hand heal, which was our break anyways going into the new season. And that's kind of when the story got cool. Is the first event of the season, Madison Square Garden in 2017. I won it. And then I got second or third 2-3 weekends in a row, and I was number 1 in the world. And I had never done that, and let alone win $120,000 at Madison Square Garden at 19 years old. So they kind of blew that story up, and that's kind of where it took off from there.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Did it mess with your confidence a little though? Like you go in and you don't ride a single bull. Did it screw you up in the head?
Oh man, it was bad. That last day of the finals, it was messing with me so bad because everyone had these high expectations for me, and me myself, I had high expectations for, of course. And we're in round number 5, and I have yet to. I don't think I rode a bull at that point past 4 seconds. I'm just getting throttled. And I'd picked a bull that earlier that year I'd rode for 93 points. So I was like, this is my chance to really show everyone. What's he do? I think the second jump, he jerked me down and he split my chin open. And that's how I ended my world finals, was coming out of the arena bleeding with a gash and had to give me stitches. So it was, and then those months sitting around until the new season, it was hard getting my confidence back.
Oh, man.
It really was.
Yeah, but then it was the next year you came back and completely rebounded, right?
Yeah, in 2017, like I said, came back and won Madison Square Garden first event.
Yep.
Kind of went on a little roll right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just crazy to hear. It's such an up and down thing, and I never would be able to know because it just was never my thing to even consider. But I just wonder how you handle all that pressure all the time, and you just have to be on at all times, or could get killed. People don't realize.
Honestly,
it doesn't look, because you guys do such a good job riding those bulls, and the wrecks, the bad wreck outs are not as prevalent as they used to be because you guys are just so switched on all the time. But it's serious, man. It's
oh yeah.
I mean, it might be the most dangerous sport out there.
Oh yeah, like JB has put it. We've talked about, like motocross. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Saddle bronc riding, bareback riding. That's dangerous. But last time I checked, a dirt bike doesn't chase you after you get thrown off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'd even say that boxing or cage fighting is more dangerous, but those guys also don't weigh 2,000 pounds with freaking spears on their heads.
Yeah, exactly.
Little axes for feet.
It's dangerous enough when we ride them in general, whether you get stepped on, anything like that. But you can make a good ride and still get messed up.
Yeah.
And the bullfighters coming into play, and sometimes those bulls just don't take them, and you're going to get your ass ran over.
Yeah.
It's just, you can do all you can. It's out of your control 100%.
Right. So, I mean, when you won your first PBR world title, day one to the end of the event, I mean, what was the feeling going into that and like progressing through it all to where you realized like, oh my God, I just did this?
Yeah, it was pretty, that's a pretty funny story too. Cause 3 events before the end of the season, I got hurt real bad in New York, Long Island, New York. I got stepped on, and I had just the weekend before moved back to number 1 in the world. So my confidence was good, and I got on this bull in the first round of Long Island, and he just clicked my heels, threw me up in the air, and my hand hung just long enough to throw me underneath him, and he stomped the ever-living hell out of me. And I broke 4 or 5 ribs, punctured and collapsed a lung, lacerated my liver, and was in the hospital for 3 days, I think. And then on the way home, I had to have a buddy drive me home because I can't fly with my lung and stuff. Well, I get pneumonia when I get home while I've got all this other stuff going on. So now I've got broke ribs and lung and liver, and I've got to hack up all the crap I've got in my lungs.
Right.
So I'm trying to hack up stuff with broken ribs. It was miserable.
So you want to be a bull rider.
Yeah. So you want to ride bulls. Let me tell you a story, pard.
Yeah. It looks all sexy on the outside until you're hacking up phlegm from your busted lung.
No joke.
Like, Mom, come hold the bucket.
Yeah.
Got another one coming.
Help. And the last, I made it back for the last 2 events or so, going in the World Finals, and I just had hell. I didn't stay on anything, get anything done the last 2 events, and I slipped down to, I think, 2nd or 3rd in the world. And I remember it clear as day. I'm laying on the couch at home, and it's 2 weeks before the World Finals, and entries were closing that day for the Velocity Tour Finals, the lower level finals. And I had just decided already that I wasn't going to go. I was just kind of sit home and just rest and go into the World Finals. And Cody Lambert had texted me, and he said, "Did you enter the Velocity Finals?" And I said, "No." If you don't know Cody Lambert, he's dry. Most dry person I've ever met. And he just goes, "Why the hell not?" And I kind of got to thinking, and he called me. He's like, "Why the hell would you not? Like, even if it doesn't go your way, at least you're getting on something and have something under you before you go to the finals." So I thought, hell, all right. Well, I went to the Velocity Finals, and I won the first round, second in the second round or something. I ended up getting so many points that it moved me up a whole nother world standings to second, I think, going into the World Finals. And from there, I won the first round of the World Finals, the second round of the World Finals, and the third round of the World Finals. And that's the first time anyone had won the first 3 ever. And I can't remember the points, but I know if I didn't go to the Velocity Finals, it would have been freaking marginal that I won the world title because I had picked up so many points there. So it was wild.
I mean, that is insane. And then whatever confidence you had lost, you gained back like nothing.
Exactly. And I honestly wasn't that confident going into the first round of the Velocity Finals, and I knew I had a good bull, so I was like, okay, let's get this rolling. And I rode the bull, and I think I was 91 or 2, like a big score, really good ride, and my confidence just shot to the roof after that. But if I would have went into the World Finals, the confidence I had, it's crazy. I don't think I would have won the world title, I swear.
Yeah.
I had no confidence.
And so it was just that phone call that kind of sparked you, like, all right, I don't want this guy to think I'm a pussy. I'm going to go.
Yeah. And when I turned 18, I went down. My agent, Brandon Bates, he actually hooked me up with Cody Lambert. And I lived with Cody Lambert for 4 years down in Bowie, Texas. And that guy has helped me out tremendously. Him and Justin McBride, J.W. Hart, they J-Dub and Justin, they come over to the house all the time there, but surround myself with those guys that, yeah, if you're acting like a little sissy girl, they're going to call it, and they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
There's no
a bunch of
sugarcoat
savages
nothing.
who live over there at Landmarks.
Oh,
too.
yeah, you don't get nothing. You don't get by with nothing. Sugarcoating, no, don't exist.
No. Yeah, I mean, you can't. It's not the sport for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of sport, I mean, I saw the other day that Chad Mendez shouted you out. That was freaking cool, dude.
Yeah,
you get people like that recognizing stuff in rodeo. That's one of the coolest things to me.
Yeah, that
about the
Chad
PBR.
Mendez he's a great guy. Sacramento each year, we can fly out a couple days early, and I don't know how it got hooked up, but Chad Mendez, you can go roll around like at his gym and everything and like hang out with him. Matt West is good friends with him, so that's kind of how I've got to know Chad.
Yeah.
And yeah, we both wrestled in high school, so it's kind of got that same background.
Yeah.
Cool, great guy.
Yeah, he is really cool. Or I don't know him, but it seems like he's really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get to hang out with a guy with like, dude fought Conor McGregor. Obviously, he's fought Jose Aldo. I mean, he is a freaking animal.
Yeah, and didn't lose to Conor that bad. Like he was right neck and neck with him before.
He had him down. But
So
what
nuts.
did he take that fight like? And that was Conor in his prime, not Conor now. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Holy crap! What did he take it like on a week's notice or something? It was something like that.
Oh yeah, I did
He was
forget
out of
about
shape.
that. Oh yeah,
A little pudge on him and everything, and he still did that.
and then you got to cut weight,
Yeah.
so you probably feel like death.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, still take him that far,
Yeah,
that close. That's awesome.
yeah. So you still live in Montana, right? Like you always maintain home.
Oh
there?
yeah, yeah. In 2018, I actually bought my own place up home. Which our home ranch, we have 10,000 acres. We run 400 head of cattle, and I really wasn't even planning on buying a place. I was planning on maybe building a house on the home ranch, but me and Cooper Davis just happened to be talking, and he asked me if I was still living at home with mom and dad, and I said, yeah. There's like never anything for sale around us. It's all a bunch of old ranchers that have owned the land for hundreds of years.
That's how those places are.
Right. And I told him that there had been a place, like from the time I was in high school, it got put up for sale and had never sold. And I was like, yeah, I think they took it off the market a couple years ago or 3-4 years ago.
Why couldn't they sell it? They're just asking too much, or it was not.
Kind of a little bit. And you're in the middle of nowhere. It's a market that doesn't reach very many people.
Yeah.
And I told him about it, and I pulled it up on the internet just to kind of show him the pictures. And by God, it was for sale still. And I had looked at it, like I said, since high school. It's right along the road, the highway, and it's got an indoor arena. It's got horse turnouts, horse pens, horse stalls, runs. It's got airplane hangar, garage, 2-car garage up by the house, a trailer port, and it was for sale. And I was like, man, I called my financial advisor and my accountant. I'm like, I got to get this place. Like, there's nothing ever for sale around us, let alone a place that caters to my sport like this.
Right.
Buck Bulls making an indoor arena out of the building and everything. And I ended up with it, and I still can't believe to this day that I got it.
Really?
Just because nothing's ever for sale around us, let alone a place
What
like
was
this.
somebody die or something?
No, they just he's a family friend actually. Him and his wife, they ride equestrian horses, like the jumping horses and stuff, and just didn't want to deal with it no more. And
Was it like a vacant place that they only went to every once in a while?
no,
or?
they live there. They go up to Canada. She's from Canada, so they go up back and forth a little bit. But he just kind of decided there's 200 acres with it too, and he's like, we don't need a place that big.
Yeah.
So what's he do? He sells me this place, and he literally moves over the hill from me.
Did he really?
He built a log cabin over the hill from me, and a couple of horse pens, and that's it. And it's like on 30 acres over the hill. He just wanted to downsize, and I'm not going to argue with him. I got a good deal and a good place.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially in a place like that where you really, like you said, you can't get another one.
Yeah, and even since then, I've looked at buying land, trying to find land around us. The closest land I've found in the past 3 years after buying my place is, I think it was 130, 40 miles away.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing's for sale.
How close is it all to town?
The closest town to us is 30 miles, and really the closest town to go buy groceries and get any shopping done is 60 miles.
Oh, my God.
I'm on the 60-mile marker from that town.
Really?
Yep.
So you really... What's the closest airport?
Billings or Rapid.
Really?
And They're both 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not the greatest home base for like what you're doing, huh? So you got to really commit to every time you leave.
But it's not bad, like down here, sometimes it takes me 2.5 hours from Stephenville to get up to DFW.
Yeah.
But that's because of traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even that far. It's like, 80 miles.
Yeah.
80 miles at home, I'll be there in an hour and 20 minutes or less than that.
Yeah. So
because there's no traffic. You might see 2 people on your way to the airport.
That's the problem with the Metroplex. Like if you need to be close, but I mean, you can't have horse property or anything like that anywhere near here unless you got $12 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I remember when I moved here, I was really naive to it. I mean, because I've been here for Fort Worth Stock Show, been to Stephenville plenty of times, but not like the Metroplex, right? Or been for the American many times, but you don't realize. Like if you need to have something like here, because I moved here to open a business here way before the podcast, and I was like, holy crap, I have to live in town. There's no choice.
Yeah.
Because you have to set the business up in the Metroplex or it's going to fail. The type of business I had, you couldn't have in like a Stephenville.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't live anywhere near here.
And it's crazy to me, I was naive to the fact what like land and everything costs down here. It's insane. You know, like around Stephenville, it's like 10,000. A good deal is like 8,000 an acre.
Yeah.
Most of the times 10,000 an acre. Up home where we live, which I mean, there's always green grass down here is the thing. Up home, if we have a bad year, we don't have that kind of grass. So it's 2 different types of soil and land. But up home, $1,000 an acre is overpriced. It's usually like $800 an acre any place around Montana.
Any rural place, anywhere Wyoming, the Dakotas, that's outside of like major metroplex. Not that there's metroplexes really up there, but yeah, here. I mean, if you wanted like 5 acres and a decent house, and you want to be like on the outskirts of Fort Worth, dude, no matter what you do, it's $1 million plus. No matter what, and it will be a junky house. Yeah, I mean it's depressing. Even Decatur and Stephenville's, Weatherford's out of control too. Right.
Yeah. So I've just been spoiled up home. Like I'm like I got this awesome place and I paid this for it, and like down here it's just a totally different ball game. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, one city has more than the entire state you live in. That's the thing.
No joke.
I mean, because you spent quite a bit of time in Stephenville, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you got married and did that whole deal, and you moved down here, didn't you?
Yeah, we stayed down here, and Stephenville, like it's kind of home, and it's weird because you're so close to town and everything. Back home, like I said, 30 miles is the closest town, and all of a sudden you're like 5 miles to go get some groceries. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, it was interesting. A lot of people were like, because I mean, you got married really young, right? Yeah. And the whole thing was kind of shroud, like no one really knew what was going on there, unless people who were like in your guys' friends group, right?
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's just an interesting topic, right? Probably you said anything, open book Jess. So I'm just really wondering, like, because it all happened, but nobody really knew what was going on. And I mean, what was the whole process? I mean, obviously I've been there, dude. I was like, I'm 21 years old. I think I want to get married too.
Yeah.
Like, what was going through your mind? Like, did you realize that maybe you were too young to get married, or what happened there?
Man, like you're talking about this time last year or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this time last year, I got that injury.
Yep.
It just, you can ask my mom and dad, it went to hell because I got hurt. I turned into an asshole. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to joke about it. Like, I got hurt. I just hated everyone in the world.
Yeah. Because you feel like your life was ending because of this. You'd never have your career back.
It's like, you're going to be fine in 2 months, dude. But to me, life was just over. Shit. Yeah. Life was not going good, and I'm hurt. I can't do anything. So I just ran on home, and you can, like I said, ask mom and dad and my brother. Like, I didn't talk to my mom and dad for 3 months. Yeah. I didn't talk to my brother for 2-3 months. My wife, it just went all bad, and I will take that full blame because it is all me. Yeah. And I just turned, like, I've talked to other guys about it, and us bull riders, when we get hurt, we just turn into assholes. Yeah. Just because, we think the world's ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're so young, and I mean, that was your first major injury, but like, were your parents like coming to your house, and like, were people just wondering what the frick is going on with this kid?
I sheltered myself.
Really?
I sheltered myself at my place, my house. mom and dad would try to call me, decline the calls. Brother tried to call me, decline the calls. Wife tried to call me, decline calls. I got one of my buddies has lived with me since I bought the place. So like when I'm down here in Stephenville or something for the winter, he can take care of it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even talk to him really. Like I just kind of stayed sheltered around the place, didn't say nothing. Go to physical therapy, come home. Like I don't know, it was a weird mindset and I was in a bad place. Everything just pissed me off.
Yeah.
You could do something good to me, nice for me, and I'd be like, I didn't ask you to do that. Why the hell would you do that? Leave me alone.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think that was? I mean, you always wonder when you have an injury like that, do they give you some weird pain medication that messes with your mood? And because I remember my dad got thrown off a horse, had to have his shoulder replaced. They gave him some simple pain medication. He turned into a psycho.
Really?
Couldn't even look at him.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I got my pain meds or whatever, but I really didn't take them just because I am weird about that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it was really that I'd never had surgery before in my life, and I had never had surgery, period. And going into that one, that's a huge one. May never ride again, this and that. So all these thoughts keep coming into start coming in my mind. Well, now I'm crippled for life. Now I can't do this. Now I can't ride maybe till ever 6 months. Who knows?
What am I going to do kind of thing?
Yeah. And I wasn't too worried about that, but just the instant of I can't do anything is what kind of made me just push everyone away and just mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all hit that. You just got a lot of pressure on you, though, for your age, right? I mean, you're 22 years old and all these different things coming at you. You're making a ton of money riding bulls.
Yeah.
You're a 2-time world champion. There's very few of those. And the whole rug gets ripped out from under you in a wreck. I mean, I can definitely empathize with that. I mean, there's no blue book maybe or no manual on how you're supposed to act, I guess, in those instances. Yeah,
and like you said, I'm young. So at that point, you're young and you're dumb that you haven't – since then, you know, I've went and talked with, like, my pastor at home. I go and I see him once a week, maybe twice a week now sometimes, every week. And we just talk about life, do some Bible studies, and because when I got hurt, I lost touch with God too, and like I was just in a terrible place. And since then, I've got help, hanging out with the right people, surround myself with the right people, done a lot of growing up, and pushed some people that were there during all that last year that weren't very helpful. Kind of, you know, space yourself with them a little bit now. Just because there is a time and a place when you have to grow up, and some sooner than others, and you see things in your life change like that, and it finally hits you that, gosh damn, I need to get it together and really grow up and get my stuff back. And I've done that since then, and life's good now. Like everything's not like it was, which is really weird to me.
Yeah.
But I've gotten good help, surround myself with a lot better people nowadays. And from there, I mean, that's all I can do now.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a really mature way to put it, because you have to recognize those things to ever improve, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it took me a while too, that, you know, I thought it was everyone else's problem except mine. Like, simple as I put it, like, if you don't like it, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, it just, and looking back now, it's like, why? Like, no, like, you have got to change yourself before anything can get fixed. Like, you've got to mature. I've got to get better in areas of my life. You know, you can't just be like, if you don't like it, screw off. That's not a mindset to have. You gotta mature and grow.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's big talk for sure, especially when somebody puts you on the spot.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, we've all been there, and there's certain people, I mean, we all know somebody who stays on that destructive path. Like, some people have that in their family, right? And you see that, and there's nothing probably more tragic or sadder than seeing an older guy or older gal, whoever, who refused to grow. Like, maybe they do what you did, but then they just always do that. We all know somebody like that.
Oh yeah.
And that's, if you're cognizant enough to recognize it, it probably scares the shit out of some. I mean, it scares the shit out of me, because I know I have people in my family who are like that, and they're alone. It's over. You know, no one cares about them. No one wants to see them. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is scary, you know, and I mean, I don't call anyone out, but you know, I do have friends that like, just distance yourself a little, because they need to grow up. But at the same time, once you've told them that and they still haven't, it's like, well, when's it going to come to the point that you do? And I mean, I still have grown up to do myself and more learning to do and grow in areas, but I'm at the point now that I know when to distance myself with those people, that maturity is it's a priority to me nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, but when you're 18, 19, 20 through, I mean, most of your 20s, I mean, granted, I'm in my 20s, so it sounds a little ridiculous to say it, but upper 20s, I'm older than you, but those are prime, like, brain development years, right? So, I mean, you a lot of people are going to have their opinions, and I mean, everyone does. It's no one's a right to tell you what to do, or anybody's right to tell anybody what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not your right to tell me what to do, or both of us could say, Ty, your hair, you should really improve that if you want to make it in life. But he's going to say, screw you guys. You know, there's certain things you have to say.
I'm going to say, screw you on this one.
Yeah, and you've only heard it like 100 times. Well, what do you think about that hairdo, by the way, Jess? Would you rock that?
I like it. It's better than some of my friends that try to put a little gel in, you know?
Yeah.
Jeremy Walker, I'll call him out right now. He's one of my best friends. Gel-haired Jeremy is what we call him now.
Yeah, that was a squirrel moment. We left all this deep philosophical stuff to make fun of someone's hair.
Yeah.
But
Specifically me.
Yeah, there's no one else, though. Can't make fun of Jess when he's, like, pouring his heart out, and I'm trying to, like, make it all sound good.
Yeah, we're in deep.
We are, but that's what we do here.
And that's fine. Like, I'm an open book, like I said.
Yeah.
I'm fine with talking about anything because the past is the past and the present is the present. You know, I'm not afraid to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff may not be how you want in life, but I'm not afraid to talk about it and tell you how I've grown and just talk about the stuff that I've gone through.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
Well, no, and I think
especially once I've tried, like, I may not be fixed as much as I'd like to be fixed, but I'm doing the right things to prove where I am, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the number one thing I think anybody can do, especially if you even look into this stuff at all, if like you're interested in self-improvement on any level, right? And it doesn't really seem like maybe it's the cowboy way to get deep into that, like, people, oh, that's some hippie shit. No, it's not. Like, because you can't be the best version of yourself if you don't look inward, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of weird to say it all, but if you're in a position like you are, or any position where you have any microscope under you at all, I think the best thing you can do is say, look yourself in the mirror and say, no, that shit was me. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
People can relate to that better.
Yeah, and it like I said, it took me a while, but one day I kind of just woke up and I literally don't know what it was, but I was like last fall or something, I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, where the hell am I in life right now?
Yeah.
And what have I been doing to people? Why have I been doing this to people? Like, I just didn't understand what the hell I had done and why I had done it. And looking back, it's like, I don't know, I just became an asshole once I got hurt.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just jump on it, like, call up my pastor, Tom, old Tom. I'm like, man, I need some help. We need to talk. Like, I don't know what I'm doing in life right now. We need to talk about stuff, and I need to get things right again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it seems like you're definitely doing that. And to accomplish that at the age that you are, I mean, it's probably going to be all uphill.
Yeah. Now everyone gives me crap. They're like, you're an old man. Because honestly, like, even before, I wasn't much on the bar scene or going out or really doing much. But now, like, even down here in Texas, my buddy I live with now, he always wants to go to town and eat lunch, dinner, anything, and I will not. Like,
really?
He's like, let's go to town. I'm like, why the hell do you want to go to town? Like, let's sit here at the house. Like, I'll cook something or get a cup of coffee. Like, everyone wants to go to town down here, and I hate town. I hate being around too many people. I just want to stay home. Yeah. And I actually was on the phone with one of my buddies right before I came in here. One of my best friends, his name's Brandon Stewart, owns a bunch of great young bulls, PBR bulls and stuff. And, like, we talk all the time. But when I go home, I get in phases, like, especially the first couple weeks I'm back home from being down here. Yeah. We were on the phone. I was like, man, we didn't talk one time all week until right now, did we? He's like, I hadn't heard from you. Because I went home on Sunday, and I don't talk to anyone. Like, my phone might as well be shut off because my best friends don't even hear from me when I'm at home. And I just go work on the ranch with mom and dad, and I just keep to myself. Yeah. I don't like town. Don't like doing anything but staying home.
I get it. You are an old man.
That's what everyone's like giving me crap about now, especially like I said, since last fall when I've done a lot of growing up and a lot of growing in areas of my life. I don't see a reason to surround myself with certain things and certain people, so I kind of just stay to myself, and that makes it easiest in ways.
Right. Was that an issue? I mean, because I have to imagine, like, you're on the PBR tour, you're with, I mean, it doesn't even matter. They're just faces, right? But to try to pull you into that bar scene, and obviously there's a lot of girls. A lot of girls who are like, oh, PBR world champion, right? Like, no depth to them at all. But, I mean, they call them buckle bunnies for a reason.
Right.
Like, were you getting pulled in that direction to go and kind of fuck around in that regard? Because you just do, right, in anything.
Yeah. Honestly, from the time I showed up at 18, I think from my first year on tour till now, I've been out to the bar, I want to say maybe 3 times, 4 times ever at a PBR. Because, like, when I first came on, I just have that mindset from wrestling, the discipline mindset that, like, I can fuck off during the week.
Yeah.
When I'm at home, do it then. There's $40,000 and the best bulls in the world in front of me right now. And if I try to get on hungover tomorrow, I may get killed. Either that, or if I don't get killed and I just buck off and I walk out, I'm going to be thinking in my mind, wow, if I wasn't such a dipshit and I could maybe win some money this weekend.
Right.
So I've never been a guy for the bar scene, especially on the weekends at the bull ridings.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they get rid of the mask mandates in Montana too, like they did down here? Or is it still a thing?
Oh,
I mean,
I'm not into politics much at all.
It's so much smarter.
I just don't pay attention. Yeah, the world's gonna be what the world's gonna be, no matter who's in office or who's on the House and Senate and all that stuff. The
House and Senate.
Yeah, whatever that is. I don't understand politics a whole lot, so I just don't try to act like I know what's going on.
It's probably better, because if you get into it, you can't really escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake of getting really deep into politics.
Really?
Yeah, and as soon as you know a little bit about politics and you start getting weird messages like, hey, what do you think about this? And you're like, I don't know you, man. I don't want to talk to you about this.
No kidding.
You probably know that more than anybody. We have like 350,000 on Instagram. You probably get some of the weirdest messages.
The best way to go about that is don't look at them.
I don't have that.
I got a social media manager because last year and this year, I've just gotten to the point where I just don't like people. Yeah. And as bad as that is to say, I just like being alone and surround myself with the right people. So,
dude, I can't wait to see
my passwords and stuff.
What you're like when you're 45. Like, what kind of mustache you can what kind of a boondocking dude are you gonna be? Like, I haven't seen anybody in 40 years.
Yeah. So that one of my best friends, the one I was on the phone with before we came in here, they have always given him crap about being an old man.
Really?
Because he's a year older than me right now.
Yeah.
He's been married for 4 or 5 years. He has a kid now. Just recently had a kid. But from the time he was 15 years old, they said he'd be in the cafe right before school drinking coffee by himself. And he's just always been an old man. And when I first came on the PBR scene, before I really got to know him, my rookie year is when we kind of started getting to know each other. But at first, before he told me how old he was, I thought he was 30 years old. He looks 30 years old just from the way he acts and everything. And when he told me, I'm like, you're a fucking year older than me. And I love surrounding myself with our Brandon Stewart, Stu. Stu is my favorite.
Old man Stu.
We're old men together, I guess is what everyone says now. So I love it.
Yeah. Dude,
absolutely.
Be you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that, but you should do that. Keep doing it.
Keep it.
Well, Jess Lockwood, thanks for coming into the studio. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Shoot, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. This should be a fun one. I think people will like it. What do you think, Tyler? You've been very quiet.
Sorry, I thought it was good.
Are you over there playing video games?
Maybe. I do have this computer after all.
You jumped up when you mentioned the hair, but that was about it.
What'd you say about my hair?
Fuck, do you see about my hair?
Stay on this side of the table. I bet you won't.
Yeah, I bet you won't see it. Come over here. Just shuffle around. He's terrified. I can make him shrivel up into a little ball if I raise my voice.
Not really.
All right, Jess, we'll let you get back to your life.
Thanks
for sharing a little bit of it with us.
Hell yeah, that was awesome.
Heck yeah.
Whoa, brother, let's go down.
This has been The Gauge, hosted by me, Chance Conrado, produced and edited by our guy Ty Yeager. Shout out to the executive producers Dustin Pointer and Cody Denton. Marketing and content produced by Riley Chone. Our theme song is by Shay Ashshire and the Night Howlers. Make sure to rate and review this podcast, as well as follow The Gauge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to The Gauge wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys next time.